Welcome to FreeThinkers Fireside, where we put the human and humanist one cozy chat at a time. My name is Helen, also known as Hells Bells. It is July 3rd, so it's almost Independence Day. So I hope that all you wonderful people, if you have the day off tomorrow, awesome. I hope that you celebrate it with friends and family, and if you are feeling a little existential dread, just remember that you have the day off. So you get that. Anyway, so I have Secular Rarity back on the show. Yay. So we're going to say hi to SR. Hey. Yay. Yay. How are you, honey?
I'm good. We were
You good?
talking. Yeah, we were talking before we came on. There's unprecedented times, and yet
Yeah.
we're still finding a way to keep plugging along and smiling through it. So here we are.
Listen, it's either like the alcohol helps. So
Lord.
but also I kind of have to laugh at the absurdity of everything. It kind of
Oh
makes
yeah.
things a little bit easier to digest.
Oh
So
yeah. Yeah. And I guess there's there's a part of me that thinks, look, I know it's terrible. I know a lot of people out there having a bad time. I am too. Trust me. Um, I, I still, I still honestly just have hope in the fact that we're right. Is that
well,
crazy? Is it crazy for me to put my hope in truth and reason? I mean, I genuinely believe that this is one of those times in history that many years from now, little kids will be in schools and they will say things like, "But teacher, didn't they know?" And the teacher would be like, "Nah, everybody just kind of was on a collective like fuck off trip or something for a few years there." So I don't know. I feel like we're gonna get it back here before long. So
well, this is my kind Mikey Famine was on last week, and Mikey said like good luck trying to get 213 million people to you know uh follow your agenda across like a huge country. Like good luck. Because yeah, it sucks right now. It does, and it's going to take us years to get it back, but there's only a small handful of people that are like really into this shit. And really and I know a lot of them have power. I recognize that.
yeah,
And it's going to suck for a little bit.
sure
But
will.
I do think that dictators, they don't last. We're a little too used to living in a democracy, and as long and enough people, I mean, like the protests alone are showing that the majority of people are just like this is all a bunch of fucking bullshit. So I do have, it might be a fool's hope,
Yeah,
but I do have hope.
same,
Um,
same.
because
And
that's the
and
only thing that's going to keep me from having an existential crisis and be like everything's going to burn. Like
yeah, and
so.
that might be, and I've thought about that too. It's like, man, that might be just the other side of it, which is really like, just like, does the evidence indicate that? Or are you just blindly holding on to this so you just don't break down into a ball of tears every 30 minutes, you know? But no, I
Right.
do, I do genuinely think that, um, over the last couple of years, there has been there has been a shift that hasn't been super mainstream yet. Yet. Like it's not everybody is talking about it, right? Everybody's talking about Taylor Swift, Everybody's not talking about this yet, but there's more people that are starting to on their own turn off the TV.
Yeah.
They're watching this thing that we've had for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's just the system. It's the same old garbage where somebody gets up and they say, "Fuck you." And then the other person gets up and he says, "Fuck you harder." And then nothing ever happens. And those people are
Right.
fucking fine. I mean, those people are crushing it. Like, hell yeah, man. Whichever side ends up winning that fuck you argument, they are hopping in their limousines and getting on their private jets and all that goodness, right? And there's
Hmm.
more and more of us out there. I've noticed that really are, we're tuning into that and then we're saying, yeah, that's not what I want. I'm beyond that now. I want
Right.
more out of this world, And I'm thrilled because I am seeing more and more people that are telling me just like casually, I'm like, hey man, what are you doing? Let's get together, or like, hey, next Thursday, blah blah blah. And they're like, yes, I'd love to, man. I'm just gonna be at the food bank that day, man. That's my once a month time at the food bank. I'm like, oh, dude, I didn't know you did that. And they're like, yeah, yeah. It's like
Hmm.
the third Tuesday, I get together with a couple of people, and we all kind of get out there or whatever. I'm seeing more of that shit, and that again, maybe it's a fool's hope, Helen. Maybe it's a fool's hope, but that gives me some hope. So.
You are the best answer to atheism.
Well, look, atheism may not give you all of the answers to all of the questions in life, but it does give you exceptional dance skills. That is.
I mean, I can keep a beat. So, I can dance okay.
Right.
I do. It's especially a goth club because it's all white people dancing.
Right.
So,
Right.
so
Right.
you're like,
Absolutely. Yeah. What
like you put me
you
in a
need.
regular club, it's just gonna be clumsy.
Yeah. No. What you need
But
to
if you're
do
at
is
a goth club and you're around a bunch of like pale white people, I fit right in.
right. Find your group that you look the best in. That's
Right,
honestly
exactly.
what I always try to do. Like the moment I realize somebody around me is smarter or funnier or better looking, I'm just like, all right, guys, I'm so. Oh my god, I have this phone call real quick. I just gotta go.
Well, that's like it's so funny because like when I was younger, I was way concerned about like what other people thought about me, and like what if someone is better looking than I am or smarter than I am, and now I'm just like that's just life. There's always going to be someone that is smarter than you, better looking, makes more money, uh, whatever bar that you put, more charitable than you, all types of shit. And if you start like trying to like compete, is you're kind of, you're missing the forest from the trees, So it's, and I like, and someone in their late 40s, I've hit the point in my life. I don't fucking care. Are you a nice person? You are cool.
Yeah, and like one of the things.
I mean, do I want a body like Beyonce? Yes.
Sure.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Let that dream go, Helen.
Yeah. I'd love if this face looked different, just in any way, honestly, I'd take it. But like, yeah, probably not going to happen, but
I think you're very handsome, Elliot.
well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love making fun of myself. So
I do too. I love making fun of myself. I always say I'm a walking embarrassment with great hair.
Yeah.
And I think that's
and nobody is ever gonna tell a joke about me.
Right. You haven't about yourself.
Like I'm always like discount store Jesus. Like that was great, And I was like,
Yeah.
man, that would have hit a lot harder.
I love like when I get insulted and it's a really good creativity. Like I'm like, I can points for that. That was a really good insult. Points.
You did. You found my flaws and you hit them.
Perfect.
But like literally my entire like high school time, all of my friends, the joke was like, man, Elliot, you kind of look like a hobo. And I was like, no, that's crazy. That's not true. And they're like, well, what's your style? And I was like, oh, I don't, what you mean? Like fashion and stuff? Like, I just kind of wear whatever. And they're like, right. Like a hobo. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, you got me. Okay. So, but no, anyway, God, what were we talking about?
We were just talking about like we started talking about politics and then somehow we veered off into uh um making fun of ourselves.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
So
It's a good time.
I mean
Another
the
one of those.
gummy is kicking in, so
Yeah.
it's going to
Yeah.
be an interesting show.
Yeah. Laugh so you don't cry kinds of moment. Where we're like, oh, the
Yeah.
world is destroyed, but my hair's really.
Well, this is the thing about like having privilege.
Mm.
Like I'm not, I don't think ICE is going to show up at my house. I don't think so. You know, so like you have that distance from things and you know things are bad. Like you know, like this is bad. This is going to be really really bad. But at the same time you have like your comforts and you know like that threat isn't going to affect you. And then I do have a little bit of guilt type it.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, well, what am I going to do with my privilege? You know, and I think that those of us in this space are trying to find ways that we can be voices of positivity, trying to do like, you know, if someone's like working in a soup kitchen or, you know, or offering, you know, a safe place for people to talk about connecting with resources, stuff like that. I think that, you know, because it takes the village,
Yeah.
and the village is the whole country right now.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, is one of those things that one keeps me from crying every 30 seconds. like I like doing the kindness thing, you
Right.
know. So
Right. I think
it's not,
we're
but some days but like me and my roommate were talking about like if this turns into like 1940 30s 40s Germany, it's like how much do you have to like someone to hide in your attic? Because there are some people that are like, can I hide this person in my attic and let them live in my house for a long period of time? How much do I like them?
yeah.
Those are the type of questions you have to ask yourself if you're going to be a safe house.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to ask. Yeah. There's the question too, like about, you know, just throwing this out there as a hypothetical, by the way, in Minecraft. This is not in real life. This is not tangible. Helen and I are not trying to do this, or anybody that we know, by the way. Okay, just throwing that all out there. But like, you know, hypothetically speaking, you know, you have to ask yourself the question, like, do I want to start trying to smuggle in large amounts of mifepristone into the state? You know, it's like, because I don't, because again, just all hypothetical, you know, like, you know, because
This
it
is
would
just a
be,
thought experiment.
yeah, it would be illegal to actively tell people how they could do this, right? So we're not
Right.
doing, you know, this is all in Minecraft. And you know, I mean, theoretically it would be fairly easy because like, you know, we don't have cross-border checks like that, right? So like theoretically one could very easily make contact with a distributor or company in another state and then go drive out there and purchase them, and then just, if you are super concerned, use some of the same smuggling techniques that are well known by, you know, people these days as to how people smuggle like other, you know, things around the country. So, you know, I'm just saying it theoretically is a possibility in a video game in a hypothetical world. So, but you know, I think about that.
But we're not promoting it, guys.
Of course not. Of course not.
This is just
never promote anything illegal.
like, you know, we do not promote illegal activities on this channel.
And here's the thing too, by the way. Here's the thing.
I do not support
right.
smuggling of what?
No.
What was it called?
The mifepristone, for
I do not promote the smuggling of mifepristone.
Yeah. Do not smuggle abortion pills into a state where it is illegal to have them.
Smuggle abortion pills in.
I will say though, and this is just me thinking out loud, okay? This is just an individual who is interested in the state of law currently, which is to say, specifically my state of Tennessee, right? Like, We passed a law that said you can't receive abortion pills through the mail. So technically, it doesn't sound illegal to drive them into the state. That's all I'm saying. That I'm just throwing
And
it
what
out
mail are
there.
we talking about? Are we talking about like U.S. Postal Service, or are we talking like FedEx?
I think it technically includes all of
Forms
it.
of mail.
Yeah, all of it.
Okay.
Private, public. But again, it doesn't sound to me like it is illegal. And again, I'm just throwing this out there as a hypothetical, right? I don't know that this could be put into practice. But theoretically, an individual or a corporation could be established that simply transports the medication from one side of the state to the other side of the state. And the human being that ordered it would not be receiving it through the mail, but they would be receiving it through the storefront that the transportation service was offering. Now, I don't know that that all works out, right? Somebody much smarter than me with time and money on their hands would have to investigate that. Of course, this is all just pulling this out of my ass.
We're just being hypothetical.
Yeah. Well,
But
there was, for instance, and I'm pretty sure she's still around, and I forget her name right now, but there was this doctor from like the Netherlands, I want to say, who got this cruise liner. She bought this cruise liner and outfitted it so that it was a fully functioning, one of the highest standards of medical facilities. That was the
nice.
grade that she got, and then parked the cruise liner just outside of international waters on various coastlines of countries that have no abortion access, and then ferries people from the shore into international waters to perform the abortions legally. I love that. I fucking love that. I think that is amazing. I am blown away by that. I think that's so fucking cool. That's the type of stuff we need, y'all. Ugh.
Yeah. I listened to I was listening to NPR because I'm better than you, and they did a story on how abortion access became legal in South America. I think it was Peru. I think it was Peru, and it only became federally legal in 2019, and it was because all these women did all this underground like connection shit, and basically like and started. So there was this medication that was used for something else, but a side effect of it was that it caused to have you to have an abortion.
Oh no.
Oh no. And so women and their doctors started like they were if they wanted to get rid of a pregnancy safely, um they just started prescribing it. And then the government was kind of like, oh, we can't really, like, it just happened to be a side effect. And then because of that, because women were getting access to like healthcare that they needed, all these women started like, forming like, this kind of grassroots organization, and got doctors and lawyers involved, and then eventually it became codified.
Almost like, and I know this is crazy, again, I'm just pulling this out of my ass, Helen.
Okay.
It's almost as if when you don't force individuals into a birth of a child that they don't want, they have more time and resources to devote to the greater good, not only of themselves, but their local community.
It's weird.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's just so strange to me, because like after like I had my second child, I was like, I want to have my tube side. My doctor was like, fine.
Yeah.
You can do that.
But they it's so, I didn't know this. I didn't know this for the longest time.
All right.
They will tell women you can't do that. They will tell women you can't get your fucking tubes tied. Like they'll look at you and they'll be like, no, see. you don't have any kids, and you're
Well,
in
that's
the
what happened.
prime,
I had
you're in
two
the
kids.
prime
My
range of birth, so you
my
can't get
my
your
my
tubes
best
tied.
friend from New Hampshire, she never wanted children. Does not want kids. Still doesn't have kids. Never wanted them. But when she was first married to her ex-husband, and he didn't want kids either.
Right, like
She goes to her OBGYN and I'm like, I want my fallopian tubes burned.
yeah,
Like, I
get
want
them
no
out.
chance. I want cauterized.
Oh yeah.
And then, but the doctor was like, well, you are 23.
So fucking what?
What? I'm
So
like,
what?
and also too, if you decide later on that you made a mistake, you just have to deal with the consequence that you made a mistake. Maybe you can adopt.
Yeah, I mean there are
Or
other
be like a really good aunt. Like,
and this is crazy. I might be wrong on this, right? I might be wrong on this, right? But like when you get, say, tubes tied, cauterized, all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you go through that procedure, okay, you still have eggs, right?
Yeah, you
still
still
have a
you just
uterus,
can't.
right?
It has no place. It has no place to go, and it just dies.
Right. But you could
So
theoretically go through in vitro fertilization with your
you
own
can.
egg and the sperm of, yeah. So like guys, if science has a problem, the answer is more fucking science. That's what we do, motherfuckers. Like, we figured this out a long time ago. I don't know why people are confused about this. Like, except for the fact, okay, hang on. Except for the fact
Because
in Alabama, embryos are fucking children. So I know we're in that one.
so do they get tax exempt status?
I don't
Do they
know.
get this? Like, do they get full legal rights
I
as
don't
like
know.
children
It's so
do?
weird. You can't freeze a fucking child, but you can
You
freeze an
can't.
embryo.
I'm
If
like,
any,
I mean,
oh
you
my,
can.
well,
It's frowned
okay,
upon.
okay, right. It's not okay, right. Physically,
Like, you
yeah, but
physically.
no, it's not. It's not. No, like Alabama now has to deal with the fact. By the way, nobody's thought about this. By the way, okay, nobody's mentioned this as far as I've heard. Okay, Alabama has to deal with the fact that technically it has millions of citizens that were born years ago that don't have birth certificates, have actively not been going to school in the time period that they are legally required to, have not been paying taxes, like nobody has any custody of them, like they are wards of the state. Like, this is a really weird scenario, and we're just not talking about it, you guys. We've just moved on from this fact. Like, we've just moved on from the fact that suddenly Alabama just got a million more citizens that are frozen in fucking test tubes. Like, it's weird. That's weird. You know.
It's I don't understand. Like I'm always like, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Because everybody complains how expensive everything is. You know, the cost of living's gone up. Healthcare's got like healthcare. You have good healthcare if you're lucky. Even if you're paying premiums on your insurance, you will still go if something goes catastrophically wrong. You will be thousands of dollars in debt. Okay, that's the world we live in. But fuck you, you have to breed. It makes no sense.
Which by the way, just tying it all back in real quick here, in case anybody didn't know, the cost of giving birth. It is a medical procedure. You get charged out the ass. You get charged out the ass. It is not cheap, motherfuckers. Did you know that the moment that you tell an event planner that this is for a wedding, the price increases? I mean, this is documented, motherfuckers. Children are fucking expensive. And we look at somebody in this world right now and we go, hey, so cool, what are you making every year? And they're like, well, about this much, right? And they're like, right, cool. So, just so you know, anytime you ever get sick or injured, Not by your fault, by the way. Like, you're actively doing good things. You're making good choices. You are the pinnacle of health, but unbeknownst to you, oops, one of your
Oopsie
kidneys
daisy.
is shit. Yeah. And you have to go through any procedure. We ain't gonna pay for shit. You on your own, motherfucker. Survive or don't.
I had a major medical event back in 2012 where I was paralyzed from the waist down. I spent a month in the hospital. A month. Okay.
Can't imagine.
And then I had a year of physical therapy after that and follow-ups. Luckily, my husband at the time had really good insurance, and we also had Aflac. I don't know, and so we were in a lot of debt after all this came out.
Made it through,
I don't understand how, like, what do you do? Because this was random. I was a 34-year-old woman, 30, yeah. Okay. And one night I woke up and my back is just hurting. And my husband falls me out and I'm like, my back just hurts really bad. Went to the bathroom, and when I stood up from the toilet, my legs gave out. Random.
Yeah. Nothing you
because my immune system just decided to attack the myelin sheaths on one of my nerves.
Yeah.
And because that's the thing that can happen. Thank you, intelligent design.
I was going to say, God's perfect design.
Right? It's so perfect.
Yeah. Super cool.
So, yeah. Yes, Ollie, we know. It's being built. Yeah, we know. We have our
alligator alcatraz.
Thank you. Husband brought me curry. He's the best. And a pretty piece of crab rangoon because he loves me. Thank you. Fuck yeah. So I'm gonna have eat Thai.
No, do it. No. Eat your Thai. I can fucking.
Shot. I was like, wow, he's really excited about your Thai food. And I'm like, oh.
Yes, he's very excited for my Thai food.
No, we're just on a show. I'm playing it up for the fucking audience out here.
We're talking about my Thai food. They didn't have the mango curry, so I got pumpkin curry.
Oh, well, that's not bad. I don't think I've ever had a pumpkin curry. That's probably
very good.
Yeah, I bet that's probably pretty good. I do like pumpkin. I don't eat enough like gourds in general, the squashes and the pumpkins and so forth. I should get more into that.
The thing is, though, like when you live in the South, like squash, like this type of shit doesn't grow good here.
Yeah.
Not
really. And
squash is like,
yeah,
not best for warm weather.
But
we do have Seminole pumpkins.
We do. We'll get a little. We'll get a little around a couple more.
Well, you live in Tennessee. More. Like, I would have to imagine it. Does pumpkin and sidebar? Do pumpkins grow well in Tennessee?
We do have a decent. We do have some decent squash and gourd and pumpkin stuff. Yeah,
my cats are.
But
and my shit.
Yeah.
I need to talk for a minute. I have to.
Do you
shoo my cats out so I can eat my food?
Yeah.
I love them, but they're demons. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I'll totally bullshit. Sorry for everybody in the audience, by the way, who just stuck with me, because at least for a second, I'm going to talk about the growing habits or the vegetable farming in Tennessee. So, we do actually have a pretty decent farming across the state, in various ways. But it, of course, it's seasonal. You're stuck to the.
Okay, cats are out. I can eat my food in peace because they will be up in my shit.
Talking about farming, so.
Well, we're gonna talk about farming. We're talking about, in case you wanted to know, the difference of climate and what grows in different what squashes will grow.
Okay, but here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm throwing this out there because I don't know that I've ever said this, right? But it's worth talking about for a minute here.
Okay.
2 parts of this. 1, a lot of times, especially in the United States, we talk about farmers, we think about farmers. Farmers are mentioned, and they're almost discussed as if they are these mythical unicorn, Bigfoot-esque type creatures, you know? Like they're just this nebulous group that's out there and nobody really knows, but we gotta fucking take care of them. That's the one fucking thing everybody keeps hearing is like, well, we did daylight savings time because of the farmers.
Right.
That's not true, but okay, whatever. And they'll be like, well, mark the day when the United States government put a bullet in the American farmer's head. And you're like, what? Why? What the fuck are you talking about? Jesus Christ, what the hell? Like, it's a wheel tax, you piece of shit. It's just, what? This is normal. Yeah. But most of the farming that occurs in this country right now is not on a like family-owned farm. Most of the subsidies, most of the benefits are going to massive corporations. And I don't mean like, oh man, like they're really big in like Texas, you know? I mean, like, there's only 4 major companies in the world that process and package meat products. 4. If you're in this portion of the world, it is all fucking going through Tyson. It is all going through them. Like, there's nothing you can do about that. If you go down south, it is all going through JBS. There is nothing you can do about that. And so pretending like this is like your local mom and pop that has like a fucking tractor and a fucking stand at the end of the road or something, 14 fucking chickens and a goat. Like, no, these are fucking CAFOs. These are undeniably gigantic corporations.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. It's craziness. Now, with that, here's my next thought. Okay, so that's the terrible world.
All right, I'm gonna eat my crab rangoon.
No, do you think? Yeah, seriously.
Why you talk about this?
Right, I'm rambling because I know
he's rambling. That's why I appreciate it, because you can ramble and I can shove food in my face hole.
Exactly. So, on the flip side, okay, our technological advancements, our agricultural understanding, and the amount of completely unlivable space that exists on this earth is more than enough. All of that combined is more than enough to absolutely eradicate food deserts and food poverty. And we choose not to on a regular basis. Every single fucking day that goes by, we choose not to feed people when we have lots and lots and lots of obvious options to do it. It is absurd to me that we have never, for instance, in the United States, right? It is absurd to me that we have never capitalized on the absolute disgusting, harsh fucking desert that exists west of the fucking Mississippi. Build goddamn greenhouses and grow fucking plants year round. I don't give a shit what season kiwis need. I don't give a damn what it takes to grow a fucking mango. We could do it with our technological advancements, with our understanding. We could undeniably do this, and we don't every single day.
Mangoes have shitty root systems.
That's okay, but that's okay because we build the fucking greenhouse. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit what soil they need. I hang those bitches upside down, man. I don't give a shit. We can accomplish this. I'm telling you.
Sorry. I know, it's fine. Well, yeah. That we have some vertical plants outside. So because we're growing shit because groceries are getting expensive.
Yes, right. And this is the thing, is so there are so many different things, for years. I remember a decade or so ago when I first heard the term hydroponics, right? And I was like, whoa, that's fucking cool. You don't take plants and shove them in dirt. You just run fucking nutrient-rich water through their roots on a
Yep.
regular basis. Awesome.
Right.
Well, do you know what aquaponics is?
No.
Even fucking cooler. Basically, at the bottom of it, it's a fish tank. You raise fucking salmon or trout underneath, and the trout and the salmon pooping gives the fertilizer for the plants, and that I mean,
wow.
right, okay, but wait. There's even
That's cool.
There's even fucking cooler in the fucking Netherlands, right? Because it's it's like sinking every year. I love the Dutch people, but your country's gonna be in the ocean in a few years. But anyway,
it's kind of like Venice and Italy. Like
you're
really
gonna be
about.
I feel bad about it.
Like your city's on water.
I feel bad about it, honestly. Like I want to do something, I don't know what exactly to do, but like we just all know
you're just sitting there going like,
your time is short. But they obviously don't have a shit ton of land. They obviously don't have a bunch of land that they can raise cattle on, for instance. Animal husbandry takes up a lot of land. It just does. It's just that's how much fucking feed these things need, right? Well, so what they're doing, and this is phenomenally cool. The top layer of this multi-story boat almost, okay? This big fucking barge that they build out on the water. And the top layer is grass that these cows and goats are fucking feeding on. Okay? And then underneath that is like all these different plants and stuff. And then underneath that is like fish and all. And then underneath, there's like 6 fucking layers and they all work together because the cow shit feeds the blah blah and the fish feeds the whatever and the fuck it blah.
So it's self-generating.
Exactly. And it floats on the fucking ocean. And it's like, oh my God, this is brilliant.
Look, science did things.
We can do fucking anything. We can do fucking anything. And yet, like all the time, every single day, we're like, oh my gosh, we just can't figure that out. I guess children will just have
we'll just let people starve. We can't give people free food. We can't give children free food. What would that be? Like
we throw away
so much shit. And this is the thing that kind of takes me off. Okay. Like, and this is probably started by a corporation. So, cause I know this shit. Things like, if they ever, I'm going to talk shit about them. So it'll probably never become a sponsor. Misfits Market. Because they take products that are imperfect and will be sold in like chains and basically do a mail subscription service.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, why are we not giving this to the poor people who cannot afford food?
There's a company.
Why?
Yeah. That's very, very similar. Yeah. And I think there are some.
I'm not saying they're not ethical, but I'm just these are everybody's got to make money, but I'm just saying that like this has been my major thing. Like if this stuff cannot be sold at like Publix, then why are we not giving it to the people that are like giving it to like children so they have lunch?
And it's
weird.
Absolutely. And it's a radical shift that we have to have as a society. And it's not just us in the United States. But we do this a lot work. Go ahead.
What's a thelamite?
I have no idea. I have not heard of that word before.
I might have to do a Google.
Yeah, I'll look it up. Thelamite is someone who follows or adheres to the principles of Thelema. Well, thanks, you fucking. A system of philosophy and religion founded by Aleister Crowley. Oh, okay.
Oh! Yeah. That I remember.
Yeah. Now this
the Thelma. The Thelma. I remember this from my pagan days. I had a moment.
Yeah. I think what happened was I went down this route just because, I enjoyed Black Sabbath and other, music from that period. And I
Yeah.
went looking into this and then was like, yeah, well, this is kind of bullshit. And then just kind of left it. But Aleister Crowley is an interesting fucking person. Maybe.
So Chris Shelton, who's going to be on Monday, he did a deep dive on L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
4-part series. Did you listen to that?
Oh my God, I love Chris Shelton stuff.
Okay. So this fucking thing, like, because when I was in my pagan days, I was all into, like, because what you do is when you're pagan, you read about all the magical people, like Gerald Gardner, and and one of the people you read about is Aleister Crowley, who was crazy. What?
I was just saying, L. Ron Hubbard was talking to alien ghosts. He's
well, the thing is, though, is a lot of the things in Scientology is based on, like, the Golden Dawn and Thelemites and all that type of stuff. He had no original idea. Like, he just replaced, like, spirits and energies with, like, thetans. Yeah, I mean, a whole religion around it.
I just wanna mark in the chat. There's a comment there, if you could pull it up. It says, "There's supply, demand, greed afoot. Why people for free if it threatens the margin?" There's a couple of different answers I could give here, Mark, but here's one that might hit you real well, which is many calculations have been done by neutral organizations for years, talking about the opportunity cost of not feeding the populace that works for you. You lose money every fucking year that you don't keep your people alive to work.
Weird like that.
Every single time that your worker has to take off, every time that they're sad and they don't do a good job providing customer service, you lose money as a business. The most crass and capitalistic, bloodthirsty, fucking profit margin focused motherfucker out there provides the best benefit package for their workers. Period. End of sentence. That's how you get the best workers. That's how you get the best products. That's how you get the best service. This is undeniably true. It has been known for decades. Decades. Motherfucking Reagan walked up there talking about fucking trickle down economics like he knew jack shit. We had been actively using successful capitalistic models that were offering the individual huge benefit package at the cost of the private business, while they were also paying huge amounts in taxes to the government.
Right.
We had record fucking profits. Just it's undeniable. It's basic fucking math. Anybody can see this. But anyway, I just wanted to.
No. Well, I think like there's this whole sort of it's the late stage capitalism shit. That we know how the economy works. Like 1% of the of a group of people hold 98% of the money or some shit like that. Some crazy number. It's insane. It's basically insane. But when my parents, they weren't rich, but they could afford to send like my brothers to college. They were able to, have some upward mobility. But and they did have a retirement, but then stuff happened. But regardless of that, it's one of those things that, like, oh my God, like they don't, like, none of my brothers have, like, I came along later and I went to college later, but my brothers didn't have any college debt. My husband doesn't have any college debt. And at the time, like, this was before Biden was like, well, yeah, we're going to just put it all in Sallie Mae. And then and then we're going to put interest on your student loans and you have to pay them back. And like, it's basically a credit, and all this type of shit. That was bad. And then basically let like corporations take over like school boards, and charge like, an insane amount of tuition and all type of shit. Before you could afford to send your kids to college. making $40,000 a year, man.
And this is the other side of it too, is there are certain things well, let's just take a big step back. Let's take a big step back, okay? I just want to throw this out there for anybody that's not sure. I actually like money. Okay, like I'm not against somebody having money or earning money because they've done something, right? Because they've provided a product or a service. I mean, genuinely super on board with that, you guys. Like, I personally have regularly in my life said to somebody, hey, I think you should get more money than what you're getting right now for this service or product that you've provided me, to the point that I will personally give you that money right here, right now. I've got the dollar bills. It's on the fucking table. You know, I value that to a lot of degrees because I think in a large part, that helps us make better choices, right? Because when I really, really care about something, somebody comes up to me and says, hey, that product or service doesn't actually do the thing that you're saying it does. And I go, oh, no way. And then they show me why it doesn't. And then they show me a better product or service.
Right.
And so I pay more for that. Because it aligns more with my totally all on board, like 100%. Okay. 100%. Right. I also understand that some things are just always going to cost money. Like, that's just the case, motherfucker. Like, right. Look, if you want water, it's going to have to cost something because there's all this fucking shit that goes into it. I totally fucking understand that. That's not crazy.
It has to be drinkable. And
that's not crazy. But the point at which we have gone over the tipping point, right? And we have genuinely gotten into this place where individuals are going bankrupt. Families are having to sell their houses and go into poverty to do basic things like have water, like get sick every so often against their will, you know? Like, that's crazy. That's obviously too far. And this is one of the things that
but then it's your fault though, somehow.
Well, right. I mean, obviously you were a bad person and you said that. No. But
obviously, like you got sick and got a catastrophic illness and could not work. So obviously, you know, you were not busting your ass in the system. So you don't deserve to have like basic housing and food.
That is the problem. Yeah.
And water.
That is
you can't have the basics of life. You just can't.
Yeah, that is exactly the problem. Like
it's insane.
It is. It's this ridiculous notion that we have, you know, swallowed for so long that truly, if you are a good person, right? If you're actually,
I'm okay.
If you're actually a good person and a hard worker, you know, if you really, really are, nothing bad will ever happen to you in your life. You'll be perfectly fine. Like, you should always be doing better every day, every week, every year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is this constant, continuing, you know, if you really are a good person, otherwise you wouldn't have been T-boned by that drunk driver that night.
Obviously.
It's your fault. I mean, again, why would your kidney shut down if you weren't a piece of shit, right? It couldn't have anything to do with genetics or anything. What?
Right. Obviously, like, I had a shitty immune system. That's why, like, my immune system attacked my myelin sheaths. Like, I did something. You know, I don't know.
Of course.
I told the capitalists they're terrible, and then it's like I was cursed.
It's like it is this.
I wonder. Okay, so here's a question. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Do you think this comes back to religion? Because religion, like the whole capitalist system is based on, like, if you work hard and you're humble and all this type of stuff, you will be rewarded for the fruits of your labor. But if you're, if you're towing the line, but
Yeah.
you do something wrong, and then because sin exists in the world, the reason why bad things exist in the world is because of sin. Obviously.
Again.
That's why there's why we have flesh eating leeches, is because it's because sin. Makes perfect sense. So to me, it makes the perfect sense if you think about it for 2 seconds, obviously. So
yeah, and I would say, in broadly,
keep talking. I'm gonna go refill my drink, but I can hear you. So you ramble and answer my question.
Oh yeah, I'll talk for fucking hours. Broadly speaking, I think there's a lot that you said that I agree with. There is, I really do believe we can show a through line of hyper religiosity throughout many, many different movements that have existed in this world, in terms of political, economic, sociological, all that good stuff, right? In the United States alone, just because, that's I love U.S. history. I love U.S. history. I'm a fucking nerd about U.S. history. But in the United States alone, for instance, the movement that brought Dwight D. Eisenhower to the presidency, right, in the 50s, is the same theological thread that then started the moral majority for Reagan, which is almost word for word, by the way, what the Tea Party and the MAGA movement have been espousing. I mean, it's so obvious, the connections, right? And again, the underlying notion there is undeniably religious. Is it entirely religious? Oh, okay, fine. No, somebody wants to push back and be like, well, it's not all religion, man. Some of it is economics. Yeah, okay, fine. Fuck yeah, fucking fine. Okay. But you can't deny the obvious religious thread through it, Like, the same is true for, like, colonization around the world, right? Many, many, many different countries and cultures and empires and shit colonized. But a lot of them had a really similar theme. Like, for instance, we love to talk about the transatlantic slave trade. And for good reason. It has fucked up quite a lot of shit,
We're still dealing with the consequences 200 years later.
Undeniably, right? So true, But we don't often talk about, and that in large part was because of the, Western European, at first it started with the Portuguese, and then it went to the Spanish and the Dutch,
Yep.
and then the British ended up taking over, and then the United States and all that good shit. But we don't always talk about, for instance, the Islamic empires in the Middle East, or the Chinese empires in the Far East, right? We don't talk about the various ramifications and the colonization that occurred, right? Zheng He had this fucking insane fleet for the Chinese Empire, and this motherfucker traveled from like 2/3 of the globe, and would just show up. Would just show up some places and just be like, "Hey, come here."
Was he the one that did the Stone Army?
No, that's
it.
Yeah. Oh shit, give me a second. Fuck. Yeah, the terracotta.
The terracotta ones. The terracotta army.
Oh God, no. Zheng He was he was a naval captain. He was a unit for the Chinese court, and they eventually decided that they were going to let him have some fleets, and he took these all over the Pacific. Zhenghe.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. Yep.
And he had these boats, He had these boats that were bigger than cruise liners today. I mean,
That's insane.
They were massive. They were massive. And it's a fascinating piece of history, right? But interestingly enough, obviously with the Islamic conquests, right? But
Oh, the Han Dynasty.
Also
Okay.
in this Han. That makes sense.
Thank you, Mark.
This also had a religious bent to it, right?
Mhm.
You know, a lot of the cultures in that area view religion very differently, how they view, you know, God and supernatural, divinity, all that good stuff. It's a little bit different for sure. But again, in all of these different contexts, whether it's that conquest or the transatlantic slave trade or you know, Islamic empire conquest and so forth, like all of these have a religious bent to them. And that
Right.
is undeniably something that has resulted in a lot of the different economic situations that we have today, right? I mean, you cannot have, for instance, you cannot have continued year on year economic growth and prosperity unless you have an increasingly cheaper production or labor cost. You just can't. Like people will always be your number one cost. Human beings doing the things that you need done will always cost money. New technology will always cost money. Manufacturing things will always cost money. They just will.
and everything's interconnected, you know. Right. Like, so like my Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
The plastic had to be produced. The plastic had to be produced. It had to be shipped. It had to be molded. It had to be colored. It had to get on a mass production line. And it had to be distributed to all the Starbucks stores. You know, how many hundreds of those are? You know.
And all the
this is one product. This is one.
The oil and gasoline that had to be drilled out of the fucking
ground,
so that we could not only make the petroleum, but also then from there transport the motherfucker. I mean, yes, like I understand all of that, and all of that makes sense to me. I don't have a problem with that. I think broadly.
No, we live in a, but like this is the result of colonialism.
In large part. There is a lot.
In large part it is.
There's a lot
but also it's skilled workers. It is, and not just people that do physical labor, people that are educated, people that knew how to make knows how to make cups out of plastic. Like that's just like that is, and I think we just see what's immediately in front of us.
Yeah. For sure.
And we don't think about like how this got here. Like I remember when I don't know if you saw this, but when I was like 5 years old, there was a episode of Sesame Street, a little clip about how crayons were made.
Yeah. And
I remember being a 5-year-old child going like, this is amazing. I didn't know this. It was like, it's like you find out like, you know, our solar system is not the only solar system in the universe. You're like,
right. And it just
sorry, Nancy's my internet wife.
Oh, I love you. I know her too. Yeah. Her and Patty, honestly, her and Patty are so criminally unloved by this community. And it is
I know.
It is absolutely absurd to me that more people do not constantly talk about their shit. Like they are both so awesome on so many levels, you know?
And Nancy sent me a squeeze boob.
That's why we love Nancy, for her squeeze
That's
boob.
right. I mean like I love like that shit. I love it so much.
Oh my god.
And I get to pitch it. It's the best thing.
No.
I'll be sitting here like talking. Somebody was talking to me about cults, and I'm sitting there like,
oh, I know about cults. Look at this boob.
I'm on the titty cult.
Yeah.
Which is the best cult, by the way.
If you're gonna be in a cult, yeah.
You should be in a titty cult. If you're gonna be in a cult, be in a titty cult.
Not a bad one to be in.
I don't think that's a bad one.
Yeah, no, I know we've just been kind of rambling about economics and all that good stuff. But look, I think this is really simple.
I love you, Puck.
Way.
It's just for you.
I think this is pretty simple in a lot of ways, you know. We have to ask ourselves at the end of the day a lot of times, like, do we actually care about the people that made this possible? It's just that simple. Like, it's really not crazier than that, you guys. You don't have to put much more effort into it than just asking yourself the question, is it worthwhile to me that the wealth, that the product, that the service, that the corporation, that the institution, you pick the fucking noun. Is it worth it to me that in the process of getting this achieved, people were harmed regularly, like systematically, because of the way we set up this process? You know, like, hey man,
Right.
look, we purposefully dumped harmful chemicals into this riverbed for generations, which is why there is this entire section of the United States known as Cancer Alley. We purposefully put people into that space of our country that we didn't give a shit about and actively pumped runoff and waste through their community.
Do you know why red tide exists in Florida?
Please tell me.
Sugar. It's the runoff from the sugar plants that Rick Scott, because he deregulated the sugar industry, dumped a bunch of sugar waste into our water system and ocean on the Gulf, because it was in the rivers and then it spread off into the Gulf, and then we got red tide.
But Helen, sugar's okay. Like, just.
I like sugar.
Sugar's great. Like, why are you so against sugar? You know, what's wrong with you? Do you hate children? I mean, come on.
I do hate children. Fuck your child.
Your kid's sticky and gross, and I don't want
sticky and gross. And he needs fluoride because he's eating too much sugar.
Right. No, but this is the thing that happens. This is the thing that happens, like, over and over and over again. And, like, we are, I'm going to say I don't know why, okay? I know why. I'm just not going to go through the whole, but look, I don't know why we as a society continue to do this thing where we're just like, yeah, fuck it. Like, I mean, it's bad for you. But if we just put it, okay, here's what we're going to do. Instead of pouring out the poison in our kitchen, let's pour out the poison a step outside of our kitchen. That way it won't get it on any of our food products. And it's like, right. So the issue isn't exactly.
Like, do you keep your oil for your car underneath your kitchen sink?
I mean, why not? I mean, why the fuck not? What's the harm? You know, I've got the goddamn roach killer.
No, I'm sorry, the pantry, not under the sink, in the pantry.
Oh my god,
because that's the best place for it.
Just get a little bit of, a little bit of spice, a little bit of flavor. You know?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, you guys! Like, why is this crazy to anybody? Why is anybody like wondering about this? This seems to me pretty easy, but I guess not for everybody, which is fine, because I genuinely do believe I'm tying this back in.
We're on bringing it all back, man.
I know. We had a plan when we started this. That's why.
Listen, I put whatever the fuck we took, because you were like, I don't know, and I was like, we'll just talk about whatever.
I'm
It'll be
terrible.
fine.
I know I'm terrible, but Like,
this is your third appearance, so like there was eventually it would just
I'm
dissolve into
grandfathered
chaos
in
because
it.
of our friendship.
I'm
It's supposed to be this way. You've had tier level. Like, now you can talk about bullshit. You don't have to have a topic.
That's right. That's right. Like, this is why, to me, it is so confusing when people don't want to actively fund the base necessities for human beings. This is crazy. It time and time and time again. It's like, hang on, wait a second. We're going to deal with poison on a regular. Monsanto went through this shit for decades.
Yeah. So did DuPont.
Like, I've got
DuPont.
Cancer because of this. I've got cancer because of this. And they're like, nah, I don't think so. And it's like, no, I'm inhaling.
Like I have a direct link.
It's so clear. It's so obvious.
And they're like, no. And then it's lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. They're like, no.
And it would be one thing, okay? It would be one thing if somebody came up to me, right? And it was demonstrable. If somebody said, look, man, there's risk getting out of the bed in the morning, right? You could always trip and hit your head. I mean, there's risk in everything, SR. I'd go, okay, where are you going? I'm with you. Where are you going? And then say, look, there's no other feasible way to do this. Like, we've tried. Look, we've gone through everything. And for some reason, the only thing that we can do to prevent bugs and infestations from destroying crops to a degree that would cause mass starvation and death, SR. Like, this is serious, motherfucker. We have to use neonicotinoids. If that's shown to me, fine. Then that's the risk. That's the assessment. That's
funny.
what we do. But it's not that way. It's never that way.
Funny, my husband, I think for our plants uses like a mixture of Dawn and something else, but it's like and it's completely safe for us to consume.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Neonicotinoid is exactly what you're thinking, which is a modified nicotine compound.
Right.
And that compound is surprisingly effective at keeping away bugs. But it also will cause a lot of those insects, for instance, to be incapable of doing the basic things that they need to do, thus contributing to the mass extinction of the bug. Where's Bree right now? I need some hives right now.
I know.
I need her to come on here and just like yell at people about all the
text her and be like, "Hey, can you come on my show? We're going to talk about." I'll text her. I'll see if she'll come on.
Go up real quick and just tell everybody about the bug death.
I will text her now and be like, "Girl, can you come on? Can you come on and talk to me about bees? Me and I start talking about bees on my show. Come on."
Yeah. Like it is. There are so many different things like that are occurring in our world, and we keep going through the processes. And in large part, the reason is not because of, for instance, it is not because of the amount of capital that it would require to adjust the system.
No, it's not that reason.
Sometimes that, not often in my opinion, but sometimes that is a reason. It's like, hey man, look, this nonprofit only has $100,000 budget. If they're gonna like change all of the marketing, like it's gonna cost $150,000. They don't have that budget, and it's like, okay, well maybe,
right.
We don't do that. But very rarely are these problems that we've been talking about. Very rarely is that the issue. Like, in fact, almost always, we make money. Almost always.
No, we don't.
Education, public education in the United States, for instance, Other countries could be different. I don't know. But in the United States, education has at a base ROI 2-to-1. Every time. Every fucking dollar that you put into education will bring you back $2. Every single goddamn time. At a minimum. It's stupid. It is absolutely absurd that we pretend. You know, my state, Tennessee. I know Florida's been doing this too, but vouchers, right, is a big thing that's going around right now. We want this hybrid between private and public education, and it's really weird on a lot of levels. Maybe violating the Constitution, definitely violating the Constitution. Doesn't matter. This is a system.
Right, I messaged her. If she's free, I was like, if you're free, we're talking about bees. Your name came up. I'll send you the link.
So, like, overwhelmingly, we know that there are certain things that we can do in education that bring us back money as a nation, as a state, as a state. I mean, we know this. And voucher systems, charter schools, are not one of those systems. Undeniably, it is not in question. It is not cheaper to go to this route. It is not more beneficial for the children to go this route. And yet, motherfuckers are doing it. And in large part, I will 100% stand on this because I think there is so much evidence available for this. In large part, it is due to narcissism. It is due to attempting to acquire wealth for an individual for a bad system. It is a total fucking racket. It is a total
it's classism, it's racism, it's sexism, it's all the isms, guys.
I'm glad you said that. I didn't even want to go. I didn't even want to talk about the racism, sexism, religious bullshit of it all. But yeah, I mean that's a huge part. The reason that a shit
and most of them, like the private money, the public money is going private education, because we just talked about this in the nonprofits, motherfuckers. It is because it's going to be Catholic. I went to Catholic school. I have first-hand experience of going to Catholic school. If you want and now luckily, the Catholic school I went to wasn't wrapped up. It was in the 1980s. It wasn't wrapped up in the current political and bed with the evangelicals. Okay. And I did get a science class and I got religion class. They were two separate subjects. That's why young earth creationism made no sense to me. Even when I was a believer, I was like, that makes no sense.
And there are religious schools, by the way, that are technically private. They are technically religious. They do sometimes receive public funding as well, technically violating the Constitution, whatever. But there are some of those that do a really good job. Like I'm not making a blanket statement.
I'm not saying that education is bad and
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, like my intelligence came from somewhere when I was a child, you know.
And the problem I mean, there's so many different issues, but
for me, I'm just going to finish this thought and then I'll let you continue. The thought to me is that because I went to private, and my parents did it because they wanted me to go to Catholic school. I don't think it was like they were trying to be elitist or anything like that. My family is French Catholic, been French Catholic for generations. I went to a French Catholic school. Like it was, and it's like in the blood, you know. But especially in this new late stage capitalism, narcissistic, post-Reagan world we live in, to me now it's about I am better than you. I get to do this special thing that you can't be a part of because you don't fit this demographic of people. And that to me is what's sick, because we're talking about education, which should be equal to everybody.
And there is a, once again, just like I was talking about earlier, there is the
Yeah.
through line of religiosity, right? That has been a part of a lot of these colonizing powers, these empires, these many of the institutions that unfortunately we are still dealing with the ramifications of today. This is also true when it comes to this aspect of our society. So I live in Tennessee, great state, love my state. Very proud to live here on so many levels. Also really disappointed on a lot of levels.
Right.
But the schools in my area that are private Christian schools, they have an interesting history. Not all of the schools in my area have decades long history. Some of them do. One of the schools in my area was built back in the late 70s. And when it was built, it was actually considered the pinnacle of public education across the state. It was a local high school. They built it brand fucking new. It housed multiple thousands of students in Middle Tennessee. But all of the private Christian education institutions in my area have a very interesting start point. And it just so happens that they started smack dab in the middle of the civil rights movements of the late 50s.
No. I'm pearl clutching right now. I'm so shocked.
There's a term for this. In case anybody out there has never heard this, there is a common phrase that has been used for decades. White flight. These are known as white flight schools for the exact reason that you're thinking of. Now come back and tell me that Christianity was the fucking driving force behind the civil rights movement and the anti-abolitionist movement. Like, fuck that shit. Like, no. People were actively at the time saying, I don't want those people in my school. I'm going to take my money and I'm going to run. And that's what they did. And so that is, while obviously not every single charter school, not every single private school, not every single Christian private school has that history and affiliation, it is crazy to think what the statistics actually are. It's like when a motherfucker talks to me about Southern pride, I'm Southern as fuck. My family has been in this goddamn country for 400 years in the South. That is not a joke. We have the goddamn records from the Civil War that split our family. I love being Southern. I love that. I'm very, very proud of that. But somebody wants to tell me that statue to Nathan Bedford Forrest, the founder of the KKK, that's about Southern pride. What the fuck about that makes me proud? That motherfucker was from my area in Tennessee. That piece of shit was from Franklin. Like, you're kidding me. I don't want to post a fuck. You know what? I'll build a goddamn statue to him so that every fucking Friday night we have a hangout where we throw fucking paint and tomatoes and hang a fucking poster across it that says racist bigot piece of shit. Like, fine, yeah, cool, we could do that. But so many of these Confederate monuments, so many of these Southern pride, when did they get built? It's crazy that they got built in the 1960s.
You know what? Just so to make you feel a little bit better. If you get a statue erected to you in glory, that is just another thing for a bird to shit on.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all you gotta think about it that way. It's like, oh, the birds are gonna shit on you.
Yeah. I mean,
that's you just gotta reframe it.
it's a great legacy for so many of those cocksuckers.
I know. Yeah, it's like good, good. I hope the birds shit on you.
Just they're so.
For all I have, there's a hell where that you exist in that you're getting shit on by birds constantly. Constantly.
Right. That's right. I've said
nothing else. I think it's a perfect torture.
Right. Just you like Chinese water drip torture. Just bird poop just right here every day. I've said to some people before, I'm not necessarily proud of this, but you know how it gets online, you get snarky. I've said to some people before, like, ooh, I hope for your sake your religion isn't true, you know? Because like shitheads go to hell in your religion.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I just
it is like it's just so like every time like because like I got an argument on Facebook. You should read it. It was a very good argument I got with my brother last week on Facebook because John, the godless engineer, posted a meme and it turned into a whole argument. And I shared the meme that my brother lost his crap.
Yeah. I can't imagine it was that fucking ridiculous. I have to imagine it was.
You want me to tell you what want me to tell you what the meme was?
Please.
It's one that calls God basically a sexual assaulter because he impregnated a 12 to 14-year-old girl.
He raped Mary. He raped Mary. I don't know what to. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, he's a pedophile.
And my brother did so many apologetics, and I was just like, it gets like he's. Yeah, I get it. I get where it's coming from. You know, but like at the same time, I'm like, listen to yourself. I happen to know that you're a very ethical person. Yeah. Like you would never put up with this now. I'm like, why are we doing special pleading, man?
Think about the situation you're in right now, brother.
Yeah.
You apparently right here, right now, have spent the last little bit of fucking time defending non-consensual sex. Well,
his technicality was that it's not SA because it's not sexual assault because Mary one consented it and it wasn't actual sex. And I'm like, you don't have to touch someone to violate them.
Absolutely. If you could somehow like inject somebody and they would just be in vitro, like it doesn't matter. No, that does not count. That does not count.
Like for example, look at revenge porn. Like look at revenge porn.
That's a great example.
That's what that is.
It's a great example. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is a great example. Yes, that is absolutely in no way, shape, or form okay. Also, Mary did not consent. That's the biblical fucking story. She found out afterwards and was like,
and the angel came down. It's like this is now happening to you. By the way,
you are pregnant.
Yeah,
you will give birth to the Son of God. That's how it's presented. It is not in any way, shape, or form a conversation. It's not like hey, so Mary, I really like feet. Are you into feet? And she's like, I'm not like super into feet, but like I'm like okay with feet. So if like you want to do foot stuff, like I'm really like I'll do foot stuff with. Like that is not what happened.
No,
I was like, not. Hey, bitch, you're pregnant. It's my kid, you know.
So we're having this back and forth, and then like it's just one more thing after another. I was like, okay, because it was like, and he would use that argument like it was a different time and different laws, and he agreed that the laws were bad, but it was, and I said, okay, I go regardless, cognitively. Was she a 12 to 14-year-old girl? That's all you gotta do. Just think for 2 seconds, you know.
Mentally.
And I go, okay, so we wouldn't allow this to happen to a 12 to 14-year-old girl now. Why are we doing special exceptions for 2,000 years ago and with a deity? Why? Why is this super fucking special? Because regardless, because then you're violating your own ethics. You're going against your own humanity.
And God knew, by the way, this God is all powerful, is all knowing, is all loving, all of that bullshit. I mean, on top of that, I mean, undeniably. And that it's so frustrating. It is so frustrating for somebody to look at me and just go, well, it was the time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, this is a good one. Did Gabriel appearing before Mary violate her free will to believe in or not believe in God? Great question. I don't think there
That's
is
a good
free
question.
will to believe, though. I think that's the problem with the question. I don't think there is free will to believe. I think you are forced to believe things. I don't think we can choose.
You're indoctrinated into it.
I don't think we can choose our.
Yeah.
Well. I just mean, like, what is this? What am I holding in my hand?
A bottle.
You're forced to believe that. You don't have any choice
Right.
in that matter. You are forced to believe that by things. But to try to answer the question directly,
No. Oh shit. Hear me? I don't know what happened.
I can hear you.
I don't know what happened on my fucking camera. I'll give it. I'll check it here in a second. But answer the question directly. No. Gabriel appearing before Mary forced her to believe that Gabriel exists, not necessarily God.
I'm gonna hide you and see if that fixes it, and bring you back in.
Maybe.
I know. I'll try. And then, nope, that made it worse. I can't see you.
Really? What the fuck?
Did you accidentally unplug your visual?
I don't think so. Hang on. Can I refresh? Can I refresh and come back?
Yeah, go ahead, refresh.
Okay.
Like I have, like, I don't know, like we all know you're kind of just indoctrinated into a faith. There we go. That was weird. It was because we started doubting Gabriel and he got mad.
started questioning God. What a dick. He could
I can't hear you, honey. Is your microphone on?
You can't hear me?
You're very low. See, it's Gabriel. He's so fucking pissed right now. Oh, internet problems. All right. Gonna try this again. So yeah, I'm missing Counter Apology. Then I watched some debates and I'm like, all right, that's why I'm not done. I did a bunch on TikTok and like I do like having those conversations, but I like having it like long form on TikTok because like you can kind of get into the meat of things and it kind of expands out, which I appreciate. Like there's assholes everywhere. Like I've been also told I shouldn't study philosophy because I own a vagina. I was told that on TikTok one time. I didn't. I don't really know what I study because I own a vagina. I don't know how that translates into me not knowing anything about philosophy, but that was the thing. I don't know. So there we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
What the fucking
fuck yeah, man.
Stupid ass fucking shit, man. Anyway, God could heal babies, but instead he fucks with us. He fucks with our fucking StreamYard shit.
That's right. Well, he's a petty god.
That's right. He is. He is. He's a jealous god. He's a jealous motherfucker. He tells us that.
He is. He's a jealous god. I mean, like the first 3 commandments are all about like him. He's very like.
Yeah, for sure. Oh fuck! What were we talking about?
Really, we were talking about Mary, and this like we were talking bad apologetics. We were talking,
right, yeah.
But I think it's because like I'm going to tie it back to our previous conversation about charter schools and stuff like that.
Go
ahead. I'm going to turn that back around because if you can do like these kind of mental gymnastics where you can go, well, this belief is better than that belief. 1, and 2. And then you start having beliefs about like skin color or gender or, how much money you make, where were you born, all that type of stuff. It's just a belief. That's all that is. You have a certain belief that other types of group of people are better than other types of group of people. And usually because of hierarchy. And where do people learn a lot of hierarchy? Religion.
For sure. It's inherent into it's inherent into the concepts, like the idea that there are certain people in this world that by their nature, and there's nothing that can be done, by the way, you will just always be less than, is true in all religions. I've seen it in all of them. Like, and that is a massive, massive problem. When you purposefully put people on a tier system and say that certain individuals are worth more than others, right? That is a massive problem. And the fact that we continue to accept these kind of modes of thinking is deeply fascinating to me. So one story that I have, speaking with an individual friend of mine at the time, many years ago, and we were talking about the civil rights movement. And it just so happened that this individual had a couple of family members, grandparents, that were involved in a couple of different sit-ins and protests around Tennessee. Very cool. Very cool. So I start talking with this person and I say, yeah, man, it's crazy that motherfuckers used to look at somebody and say, here's this one quality, this immutable characteristic about you. And because of that, you don't deserve access to the streets. You're not allowed to use these banking institutions. You don't deserve the rights and the rule of law that every other person gets. And they're like, I'm with you, man. That's crazy. That's fucked up. That's wild. And I said, yeah. Isn't it weird that gay people can't get married? And he went, nah, man, of course not, man. That's fucked up, man. They shouldn't be doing that shit. And I'm like, well, hang on, though. Like, do you not see the through line there? Do you not see the obvious? What's the difference in these fights? What's the difference in these messagings that are put out there?
Gay rights are special rights.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Gay people are like, I loved this argument, by the way. I loved this argument for years that was accepted in our court systems, where it was like, it's not sexism to deny gay people XYZ thing, right?
Right.
Even though the only difference was the sex of the individual involved. Because if a man wanted to do this thing with a woman, or a woman wanted to do this thing with a man, everything cool. But when a man wanted to do with the man, what's the difference? The difference is the sex of the individual. That's crazy to me. That's fucking insane. And yet for years, that was the accepted legal theory. Right?
Like, it's one of those things. Maybe because I'm queer and I've never been straight, so I don't know that brain. Like my husband can kind of put it like this. Like, he's like, I can look at a man and know he's attractive, but kind of like I know what painting is.
Sure. Yeah.
Versus when I look at a woman, and all the all the bells and whistles, and I was like, oh, that's fair.
Yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But like, I think because I'm queer and I've had attraction to different genders all my life, I couldn't understand. I was like, but I'm like, what? I don't understand why this matters. I'm very confused because I'm like, I'm not doing anything deviant. I'm having consensual sex and just someone has the same genitals I do. I am so confused. And it's just because, one, sexism and patriarchy and just being a bigot. So
yeah. And it's there's a couple of different sides to it, by the way. Okay. I'm gonna call our people out for a second, Helen. I'm gonna look in the mirror for just a minute. We got to. We got
because
right?
we do suck.
We sometimes. But first, I just want to point out to the other
Point out
people.
the-
I just want to, get those people that aren't on our team. I just want to say something to y'all real quick, which is, if you're honest about the history of the world, if you genuinely care about the truth of our society as just a species, as just a population, you may
Right.
not think you're connected with people in like Finland or whatever, but technically you and them share really, really a lot of DNA. You're really, really close, right? But if you think about that progress for hundreds of thousands of years, for a long time, we have said, these people are the ones that are people. These matter. And everybody else outside of this doesn't fucking matter. And then a few years went by, and then a bunch of people were like, oh no, shit, like, these people matter. And everybody else outside of that is bullshit. And then like a few more, we went, these people matter. And these people. Why in the fuck is there somebody betting on the side of, nah, that's as far as we're expanding the people matter category? Why would anybody bet on that? It is so obviously stupid. You will lose money every time. Like, I have no idea why people don't.
It's like, we're talking about, like, corporations don't want people, like, why you actively want to kill
Right.
people. It kind of reminds me of Ozzy Osbourne in the 1980s, where people were accusing of Black Sabbath, like, causing kids to unalive themselves. And I think also Paul Halford from Judas Priest said this too. It's like, why would we want to kill our audience?
Yeah.
They won't buy our records.
Do you know how much they pay us right now?
Yeah. Like, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to kill my fans?
This is stupid. This is so silly. I have no idea. Oh my god. This is so logically, obviously fucking wrong. I don't know why you didn't take 5 seconds to think about that. Right. So it's that's very silly to me to start off with. To add on top,
the Mighty Philbird, you are on our team because you're here, and we're awesome people.
I think if you're against the general idea of
people,
then you're not on our team. If you don't, if you're just not. like if that's where you're at, fine. But like otherwise, you're probably on our team, right? Like you're probably.
If you're on the what? Okay, so like I was talking to this person on TikTok, and they asked me what a human is. I go, okay. I'm like, do you care about other human beings? Do you want them to prosper and make money and have a good life and be comfortable and have friends and family and things that make them happy? Yeah. And he goes, yes. I go, you're a humanist.
Yeah, it's that simple.
That's all that is.
Honestly, I gotta be real. If you want to take the other side of that argument, like, go for it.
I would reevaluate. I would probably re-examine your values.
100%, right? But like, I'm super comfortable. By the way, just when like the religious person.
I'll get you a jersey. I wish I had merch. I'll make some humanist merch.
Right. The religious person that comes argues with me, for an hour straight, right? And then finally just goes, well, God's not logical, man. God doesn't have to follow the laws of logic. I'm like, oh, cool. So you're just saying your belief is nonsensical and incoherent. Cool, fine.
Like when you say it doesn't follow the rules of logic, then I'm like, then that's crazy. Because
then it's
people have mental disorders when they don't follow the laws of logic.
This is you telling me your system, your understanding, your belief, your all of that. You're telling me that this is nonsensical. Okay, fine. If you just want to get to that, just like if somebody genuinely wants to stand on the side of like, no, SR, seriously, I don't want human flourishing. It's like, cool. Like, weird flex.
I do want to put a qualifier. I don't think people that have beliefs are mentally ill.
No.
I'm
I knew that.
talking
No,
about the
I knew that.
religion. Like the
Yeah.
religion is like, if you believe donkeys can talk, I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
For sure.
that type
No.
of
Religion,
stuff.
religion is not a mental illness. Just because somebody has a religious belief
Religious
does not
belief,
equate
yeah.
to that. Right. Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely.
I like the way I said it. I might be
No.
misconstrued, and I don't think
No, I
that,
totally
so,
understand. No,
yeah.
totally respect that. But
Because
yeah,
I used to be religious, and I know how we.
Of
You
course.
used to be religious. You know how we think.
100%. Yeah, I have many friends right now. I love these people that are very
Yeah,
religious
me
right
too.
now. Funny
Yeah.
enough, though, and this, I'm just throwing this out there, right? Not saying that it necessarily means anything, okay? But just throwing this out there. All of those religious people that I'm thinking of right now are super in favor of things like women's rights, LGBTQ rights, abortion access, climate change measures to make sure that human beings survive past the next 20 years, helping individuals on the lower economic, end of that spectrum, or immigrants. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if that matters to anybody. I'm just saying I know shit tons of religious people who tell me on a daily basis that Jesus would be disgusted with the majority of the people that claim all of the people that claim Christian nationalism today. I'm just throwing that out there. I know Christians that hate that shit. So maybe I'm an asshole, maybe I'm just anti-Christian. It could be the case. Or it could be that it not only is illogical and economically a bad idea, but it also has no basis in your theology. It could be that case. Just saying. I hate that for you, because that means you got work to do on your end about what your Jesus means and your Bible and all that shit. But look, I'm just letting you know there's a lot of denominations out there that would welcome you with open arms. There's a bunch of churches you will have a great time at. You'll have the potlucks. They got the daycare. They just also happen to have a rainbow flag in the corner, and they're not actively wanting to incite genocide. I mean, look, if you don't want that, if you want to stand on the other side, you stand on the other side. That's fine.
You know what's really funny? Like, this is why dictators don't work. They never do. Okay. Because I'm going to use Mad Max, for example, because great movie series. Okay.
Love that.
Okay. We're living in this dystopian future. Okay. And a fascist rise up. And the thing is, though, it's that, like, if you don't just diversify, you basically the system will eat itself. And that's what kind of happens. It's like, if you don't have diversity, you will become stagnant. You just will. And then if you're holding on to old ideologies, you're holding on into like some mythical past that doesn't, and you become like a death cult and all these things. Like it's not. I'm like, your goal is to die.
Right. And
that's not the goal.
That's not theory. This isn't like me and Helen just saying like, I don't know, be in a perfect world, blah, blah, blah. No, we have data. We have data on this that undeniably shows like, hey, wait a second. These like exclusive, like insular communities. Let me give you a good example. Great example.
You keep talking. I'm going to go get some drink.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this shit. This is my
absolutely.
Right,
it's great. There's a couple of different denominations in this vein that I'm going to talk about here. The Amish, the Mennonites, the Shakers. Now the Shakers are really, I think, the one that I want to talk about more than anything. And in Tennessee, this wonderful state that I live in, we have a lot of Shakers. They get their name, by the way, from many years ago. I want to say the late 1800s. That was part of the second, or I think it was the third Great Awakening in the United States. There were these big religious revivals that captivated the nation. Shakers started because during their religious ceremonies, they would violently shake in the pews or in the aisles. But anywho, one of the things about them is that they actively tell their congregation not to have sex. Not like before marriage or anything, right? I mean, that too, of course. I said, 15 years, 16, 20-year-olds don't have sex, get married, whatever, biological urges, fuck all that shit. But they also tell married couples not to have sex. Like, at all, not even to like make babies. They're like, look, don't do the P and the V. Don't do that shit. Okay. Period. And obviously their numbers have been declining for
Weird.
I mean,
Where
right?
is-
Like it's so clear. It's so fucking obvious. Like that's what has happened.
Maybe correlation is causation.
It's like, yeah, it's almost like the sexual drive that many people feel is beneficial for the population. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a biologist.
Every other fucking species on the
Not a
planet.
biologist. No, I don't know. We don't. It's up in the air. Honestly, the jury is out. Nobody's definitively proven.
For some reason, species like to self-propagate.
It's so weird. It's
Through
so
a
crazy.
bunch
I
of
don't know.
different means.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know why.
I haven't figured it out. It's like somebody's talking. I heard this Chuck Derwin. I don't know if you've heard of him. Some people call him Charles. But this evolution thing or something. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's cool, man.
But 36 days. What's happening? And I think I'm gonna get to see Jess in 3 days. Not to like one up you, Ollie, or anything. I didn't want to. I'm sorry, that was kind of fucked up. Now that I think about it,
we went up on each other in this fucking community.
Okay, well
It's
then
our
in 3
only-
days, I just want to say in 3 days,
just own it.
I will be in Williamstown,
crack.
Kentucky, hanging out with some phenomenal people
so
that will
mad.
be protesting the Ark Encounter facility.
Me and
up there.
I wanted to go so me and Nancy can make out and for all the like
Nice.
because we were joking around about like they'll be more offended. I was on Joe's show. That's what happened. It came up on Joe's show, and he said they'd be more offended of the two women making out than like the incest boat. And I was like,
Hell yeah.
which is so weird.
Okay, just to be honest though, like some of the. There was some gay shit going on that boat
Oh, so
on the
much gay
Ark,
shit.
right? There wasn't that many people. There wasn't that
Or
many
some
people
sheep.
on the boat,
Or
you know?
sheep.
Oh, for sure there was that going on. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was, yeah. Baja Con. Yeah. Up in Ontario, Canada. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
I know,
Baja
I can
Con,
only
by
do
the
one
way.
a year. I can only do one event.
Look, and I know this, and here's the thing, right? Because I'm involved with so many different awesome things, and there's all these different groups out there that are doing phenomenal things, right? Like recovering from religion has been a fucking staple for decades now, Freedom from Religion Foundation, the Secular Student Alliance. I mean, there's so many different amazing groups that are doing this, and a lot of times we feel bad because we can't participate in all of them. And I'm right there with you. Like I missed AA Con up in fucking Minneapolis this year. I was bummed, but that's okay. You know why? Because I'm going to be at the Ark Encounter protest, because I'm going to be at the Scopes Monkey Trial at the next week. I'm going to be at NanoCon at the end of that. I'm going to be at the Bat Cruise for the ACA, so it's like, here's the thing. Here's what I want to tell everybody. I know that there is a lot of shit out there and we can't all participate in all of it. And that's a bummer. And that makes us feel like, man, I'm just not going to do anything. At the same time, there's all these motherfuckers out there that are trying to make us feel disconnected. They are purposefully doing things that are making us feel like our voice, our effort, our $5 means nothing. That is their goal, is to demoralize us. And that is bullshit. That is absolute fucking bullshit, because you giving $5 is one of the best things ever. I don't know if I'm there yet. Yeah. I don't know if I'm at fucking that status yet.
It's
but one of these
because,
days.
well, I think big time right now too is that you're trying to get your organization off the ground. And you got to make connections, and going to these events, because you're becoming a leader of an activist organization.
I appreciate that.
When you do that, you have to be fucking active.
100%. And this is the, this is the whole focus.
I have little tiny presences online. That's where I am.
Right.
But I'll show up to an event because y'all want to see me anyway. Because I'm going to be at that cruise and we're all going to get really drunk together. It's going to be amazing.
We're going to have a great fucking time.
Yeah.
There's so many awesome people that are going, and tickets are available too, by the way. So y'all just go buy them. But there is so much that we can do in so many different capacities. And, I know there are so many people out there that think, I'm really not doing that much at the end of the day. Okay, I liked this Twitter post. I shared it, I commented on it, but what did that really do? Or look, man, I've been a monthly donor for 2 years now. I give $10 every fucking month, but what is that really doing? Or I go out once every 2 weeks and I spend a little time at the local homeless shelter or the public library or whatever. What is that really doing though? Fucking everything. It's fucking everything. It is only because of those efforts on a day-to-day basis that any progress has ever been made, you guys. And I know, again, right now, we are up against it. There is so much out there. There is so many groups and individuals that seem to be gaining traction, by the way, too. There's some of these motherfuckers that are out there that are saying atrocious things that last week had 10,000 subscribers. This week have 35. A week later, we'll have 150. And it makes us feel like...
I'm almost at 2.
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell
I'm
yeah.
so excited.
Hell yeah. See? And that's the thing.
Progress.
And that's the thing.
And my view times are going up. So
hell yeah. And this is the thing. Is there's so much, there are so much of us out there right now that are plugging away, that are putting in the groundwork, that are building something bigger. Right? A lot of these motherfuckers are building things tall, real fast. But real tall and real fast is not stable. It is not long lasting.
Right.
We need something with deep, wide roots. And that's what a lot of us are doing. And I know that we don't always see the return on that, right away. And it can be really, really difficult. And trust me, I can't tell you the amount of times that I am demoralized. I can't tell you the amount of times that I am like, if only we could. It's just 1% more. Or it's $5 a month. I mean, all of that, absolutely. But
I wish I could give more to
absolutely 100%.
All of that. I'm like, well, I give money to this. I give money to this. I'll go on my friend. I was on Brendan Lee's channel today. I 666 is what I always donate. That's all you're getting, motherfuckers. Right. And it's my number. I'm gonna own it. But I gave him $6.66 because I will not be a member of your channel because I would be a member of everybody's channel, and that's not happening. And I don't pick favorites.
No, and I get it.
I will give you money, and I will have you on my show, and I will promote your work.
We can't all do everything. We cannot all do everything. We can't be involved in the pushback against the Christian nationalism and in the abortion rights and in the climate change and in the 100%. But this is what we need.
You're
absolutely. we don't have that much bandwidth. We don't have that much. We don't have that many spoons. It just isn't
Spell
possible.
slots. We don't have that
You know,
many spell slots.
I love it. I love the spell. Yes, spell slot. I love it. Love it. Not
Thank
after a
you,
long.
Ember. Thank you, Ember.
Get along, rest, and call me in the morning.
Exactly.
But like we have to recognize. We have to recognize this, and I think many of us are. By the way, I do think this shift is occurring, which is we have to see the connection between these causes. We have to see the broader through line between these different fights, right? The pushback against Christian nationalism is the fight that you want to be involved in if you believe that abortion access is healthcare. If you genuinely believe right now in your heart, when you wake up in the morning, nobody has to tell you otherwise, but you just fucking think that it's weird and kind of gross that children in this country are forced to go without lunch and humiliated in front of their peers because they couldn't pay for a school lunch? What? Wait, what? We're not giving kids fucking food so that they can learn? That's crazy. If you think that, if you say to yourself on a daily basis, it is absolutely absurd that trans people are not considered fully human in this country right now. All of these fights are the same. All of these fights are the same. And we have to start actively building those connections and strengthening those ties between us. We need each other, and we need to recognize that that is what the other side is doing. They're fighting 1,000 different fronts with billions of dollars.
I don't know what it is about us, our side. We are terrible at marketing. And that, like the other, well, and I think also too,
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Well, this is why I think it is, because when you have a very simple message, it's very easy to get that out there. Everything with us is nuance. Everything. Like you're like, okay, I want to like stop climate change. Just as one issue. Okay. But then we have to think, but then we're not looking at like, well, we're just going to stop making fossil fuels. Well, that's not going to work, because if we stop doing that, we don't put something else in place to help people that make money off of this. Like, what are we going to do? What are they going to do? Okay, well, then we have to have money for like additional education, but our education system's kind of fucked. And there's this on and on sort of way of looking at it. We know the things that need to happen, but when you say like, just these little buzz points, but then you kind of peel back the layer, it's not simple. Like
doesn't fit on a bumper sticker.
Yeah, nothing's simple. It's not. And then you're over here as the leftist, and you're overly educated. And you're constantly pointing out like, hey, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't worry about trans people right now, because, like, we're bombing other countries. We have bigger fish to fry. Yeah. And then over here, I'm like, I have a trans child and I have to protect them too. I can't I can't do both.
Right. Maybe our policing system, as it's organized systemically, is one that makes it less safe for. Did you know? This is just a fun fact out there for everybody. Did you know that in two cities that sit right next to each other geographically, share a border, Mount Juliet and Nashville? Okay. Mm-hmm. The police departments in either of those cities are under no obligation to contact the other police department and let them know that there is a criminal that they are actively pursuing that is in their jurisdiction. Now, Many times
Mhm.
they do. I would even argue that it is the majority, for sure. It's not like 51-49, okay? But the fact that our policing system is one that is so disconnected that literally 2 major fucking cities do not have to let each other know that there is an active fucking murderer that they are pursuing traveling through their city. That's crazy to me. Now, here's why that's important, by the way, folks, okay? Because I know many of you are like, well, Elliot, there's probably a reason, but fine, okay? Here's where the problem comes in a demonstrable way for you, the citizen of your town. Right now, there is no way to determine whether or not the individuals that are policing your community, there's no way to determine whether or not they are currently convicted sexual predators. There's no way to determine if they have actively embezzled large amounts of money from various cities or state institutions. There is no way to determine if they have brutalized other American citizens and then just picked up and moved. There's no way to determine that. The only way to figure that out is for you to, on your own, investigate every individual officer in your jurisdiction. That's fucking crazy. I know a bunch of police officers in my city, and they are solid, good, humanist people. And it is absolutely absurd that those individuals could be on the same squad as motherfuckers who raped fucking kids. That's our system right now, and we let that happen on a daily basis. We choose not to do anything about it. And somebody wants to tell me, nah, man, there's nothing wrong. Everything's good. Like, that's the city you live in. The people that are protecting your children right here, right now, could have been actively convicted of some of the most atrocious crimes in our country. And we don't know about it because of the fact that we don't have any type of federal system for this. And it's like, again,
but with states' rights, Elliot, states' rights.
That's what I hear so much. But
States'
you know what's
rights.
weird? You know what's weird about that, Helen, is the fact
What?
that,
Tell
and this,
me. Tell
this
me,
is a
Elliot.
great,
Tell me what's weird about
this
this
is a
whole
great-
fucking system.
I know you know all this. I know you know all this. But what it's a fantastic
No,
tie-in.
I'm a dumb woman. Tell me.
It's a fantastic tie-in, which is the states' rights argument was used once in this country so that individuals could literally enslave other American citizens, other human beings. Our Supreme Court actively once ruled certain human beings are in fact property. That's crazy. It is also from that time that we will eventually get what is known as our modern police forces. These were slave capturing raids that were institutionalized by cities and local private businessmen that would eventually turn into our modern policing system. It is a fascinating history if you don't know this.
Wait, Elliot, are you saying that the thin blue line is based on a system that was invented during when certain people of certain skin tones were kept as property? And we have a race problem in the police force now? You don't say.
Some may argue, some historians, some legal experts may argue that demonstrably right after the end of the Civil War, many a state passed laws that are now nationally enforced. Funny enough, like jaywalking is a really interesting law that has this history that was pretty much exclusively used to criminalize black people. Like, yeah, I mean, there may be some obvious history there.
I wonder
right.
if I have to find out like if jaywalking is a racist term.
I don't remember. It might be. I don't remember. If I remember correctly, though, for sure. Like just to be, I've been a little silly about some of presenting some of this, but everything I'm saying is true. You can fucking correct me.
Yeah. Well, you have to like have the
right.
sweetness to take the medicine.
Right.
You have to have the sugar.
Right. Yeah. But like, I'm pretty.
that bullshit into the.
I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident. Jaywalking was one of the, one of the laws that was very much. Jim Crow laws, very much right after the freedom of Black Americans in this country. It was one of those things that was right away was like, yeah, it's just kind of a bullshit charge that we're just going to apply to anybody that we don't like, And funny enough, the people that weren't liked, were largely Black, right? It's frustrating to think that so much of this is. Yeah.
So this is interesting. So this goes all the way back to 1913. And the auto industry.
We're a big part of passing this, for sure.
Yeah, sure.
For sure.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So
they had a huge, also, and that's the same thing true with, a little bit. We're just tying in all kinds of things today.
I'm just like you do I love Google.
Oh yeah. There's phenomenal
history of jaywalking, and then I got a title like how the auto industry, enforced, invented jaywalking and enforced it, and I was like, what? And I'm like,
it's in large part the same thing true with the criminalization of marijuana. The criminalization of marijuana actually does not come from. The majority does not come from a refusal or a shunning of like drug culture or anything along those lines, right? Eventually it will, like even to the point of, under the Nixon administration, his, one of his aides, fucking Erlanger is his last name. I forget what his first name is, but he literally has a quote that said like, we knew the blacks like crack, and we knew that the hippies liked weed, and neither of them really liked us. So if we criminalized both of those, we could get rid of all of them. Like he literally says that. It's fucking crazy. But one of the largest initial driving forces behind the criminalization of the cultivation of cannabis, the lumber industry, because hemp has such an incredibly short grow season compared to paper products. And you can make all of the same products that you can out of paper pulp, out of wood pulp, that you can out of hemp pulp. But you could do so at an insanely cheaper cost. And so back in the 30s, when the United States was getting ready to get into World War II, they started mass producing this national campaign called Hemp for Victory. And what they did was they actually subsidized farmers. They actually encouraged the average American to start growing cannabis at their homes, even, because they would then sell it to the government, and the government would make all kinds of products from the hemp fibers, because hemp is surprisingly versatile in what it can do. And one of the really incredible things that it can do is it can make really high quality, really cheap paper.
No.
And in the 40s, the lumber industry really went against that. After the end of World War II, the lumber industry really started harping on cannabis and said, this is really, really bad. We got to stop it. and it would eventually come to the point that it is considered a Schedule 1 narcotic in the same vein as methamphetamine. Like, it is absolutely absurd. A Schedule 1 narcotic, by the way, in the United States federal government is considered to have no medical benefits. Period. End of sentence. That categorization is kind of stupid to begin with. But it's probably fair that meth stays there. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's probably fair that meth stays there.
Okay.
Fine.
I don't have a problem with like Schedule 1 to like, how we're going to do things like medicine and funding and things
Sure.
like that. I think that like we have to have categories. Like
course.
we have
No.
to have a ranking system.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
But
Totally.
I don't feel anyone should be criminalized for smoking meth. I don't think you should get thrown in jail for that.
No, you shouldn't. 100%. Totally agree.
Yeah,
It's not a criminal issue. It's a medical issue. It's absolutely, it's a psychological
this person
thing.
needs help.
100%.
This person doesn't need to be
100%.
criminalized. This person
Yeah,
needs
yeah.
help.
Yeah, 100%.
Something's
right?
gone wrong. Something has gone very
100%.
wrong. Something has
100%.
gone very, very wrong.
But
Yep.
I also think it's fair that meth is in that category where it's like,
yes, I do.
Yeah, we've got
It
a
is
lot
not
of
like-
other things that work
we
way
got,
better.
Yeah. I have
Take some
consumed
Tylenol.
cannabis, both of us tonight.
Oh yeah, totally.
And we're having a normal conversation.
Perfectly fine. I mean, somebody
Just
out
being
there
friends.
is going to yell at us,
Yeah, I know. Fine, you can yell at me. It's fine. I it's my kink. Yell at me. Call me mommy. Tell me I'm a bad. No, tell me I'm a bad girl.
No, it is. It's crazy, and I know we've talked about a shit ton of stuff, and we're at 2 hours now, which is wild.
I know.
I
That's
know.
what happens.
I just
when
looked
you
down,
and
and I was like, holy shit.
Because it's because we've known each other for a while now. Every time we hang out, it's never just like, hi. It's
no, we just go off on fucking everything.
Oh my god,
5
we're
minutes.
so annoying at back cruise.
No, people will love it. They'll love it. They paid their tickets.
They'll just see me
It won't matter anymore.
Constantly, and then if we're both high, there's
yeah. Look, if you have a bad time after you've paid your ticket, I'm not worried. I'm just you've already paid. Like, what can I say? No, I mean, again, this is the thing that I've been on for a few years now, which is, obviously Hal and I have talked about all these terrible things, so all these reasons why the world's falling apart and all that shit, right? But
the sky is falling.
right. It undeniably is.
Grab a fucking umbrella.
Exactly. That's the point. There are so, and I'm so glad you said it like that too. I love that thought. Like, grab a fucking umbrella. Like, that is the point. Like, we are in a position right now where I agree the sky is falling, but that does not mean that there's nothing that we can do. There is a shit ton that we can do. And in fact, if we don't start now, we are going to be so far behind 5 years from now. We have to start the grunt work. We have to start forming the connections. We have to start getting involved. Even if it is just 1 fucking hour a month, $5 a month. Like, this is what we have to do, y'all. I totally understand why we're all upset. I'm upset. I'm fucking depressed. Like, it's every fucking day. I totally get it. And everything out there right now is telling us there's nothing we can do, and our shit doesn't matter. But we can. We have to. There's no other option. So I think there's a lot of really cool, I say all that to say there's a lot of really badass things that are coming up in the next few weeks. And I want everybody to be involved in them. There's so much cool things that are going on over the next couple of months, you guys. And you can get involved in so many ways. So please, like, if you are in this space where you're like, man, nothing matters. It's all going to shit. I'm fucked. You're fucked. There's nothing we can do. Reach out to somebody and tell them that.
Yeah.
Reach out to somebody. There's so fucking many of us, get connected, because I promise you, I promise you, you get out there for one fucking day, you pick up some fucking trash.
And I
You will feel
I think
better.
this is the point, is that like, if you're doing this to get clout, you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're just not. Somebody like, me and Elliot are public people. We like attention. We do. We love it.
For sure. Can't deny it.
Yeah, I like, oh, feed my ego. Oh, baby. Woo! Anyway, but they're like, I've been involved with several organizations, and there's so many layers, there's so many things, and somebody's got a fucking talent that you don't got. Like when I started volunteering for recovering from religion, okay, found out hotline agent. I did that for like a hot minute, and I was like, nope, chat line agent, not for me. Not for me. I started doing stuff, I'm not with the organization anymore, but I started doing other things.
Right.
And because of those things, like, now I have my own podcast because I built the confidence and skills working with one organization. And now I'm kind of shifting my focus. I'm doing my own podcast, and I'm probably going to get involved in local politics, because my focuses are shifting. That's,
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good, and that's right. And we all need to recognize that when that happens, that is beneficial to us. It is not a detriment. It does not undercut us, because, again, just like I was saying earlier, there's all these different causes, and there's all these different organizations, and there's all these different individuals that they're doing something just a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But we are all pointed in the same direction. And we have to build that coalition, because that's what the other side's doing. That's what the other side's doing, and they've been doing it. And if we don't start today, we will be so far behind, exponentially far behind, 5 years from now,
I think
10 years
I'm going to say this right now, and this is a problem in our community, that as soon as we hear someone is religious, we don't want to associate, because we initially think that something about it is corrupt.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Christians Against Christian Nationalism.
Yeah.
Is a nonprofit organization that every fucking atheist in this country ought to know.
Right.
And be supporting. Christians Against Christian Nationalism. Those are the motherfuckers that are going to be able to make a difference in the pews. They're going to be the ones that are going to affect change on the tangible level.
And we're like, hey, I don't agree with your philosophy, so we can't be on the same team. It's fucking stupid.
Cut off our nose to spite our face.
I'm like, what are you doing, man?
Absolutely.
What are you doing? What
Absolutely
the fuck are you doing?
silly. Absolutely.
We cannot diversify right now. Like, hey, you know what? We can debate about philosophy. I told a coworker yesterday. She said something about like, well, this person doesn't even believe in God, or like they were going through something, and I said, well, I don't think I'm an atheist, and I go, I think the most important thing is that kindness and compassion, regardless of belief. And just be a good person, because we're all, no matter whatever happens at the end, all we got is right now, and we have to be good to each other, because that's all we know in the moment.
Right. I love the way I got to hang out with recently Sydney Davis, Johan. She's changed her name.
Johan.
I love that, by the way. But Sydney, I love Sydney. She's fucking amazing. And we were hanging out not long ago, and she said, I don't know why all these religious people get all upset, because like I say to them, I'm like, hey, wait a second. If I'm right, you're not going to see me in the afterlife. So you don't have anything to worry about my shit, On the flip side, though, if you're correct, you still don't have to see me. Like, what the fuck is the, like, in either scenario, So like, what the hell, man? Why is this such a, but yeah, no. I wrap it up, because I definitely got to hit the bathroom here before too long.
That was fine.
No, I think there's a lot of reasons for us to be bummed out right now, and I don't fault anybody for doing that. And if you don't have the time, you don't have the money, you don't have the energy, I ain't coming after you. I get it. Take your time. Take a break. It's a lot. I totally understand. For everybody else, there are so many fucking opportunities. There's so many fucking opportunities. And if you don't know about them, call me. Because I fucking guarantee I got them for you. I know I do.
I probably do too. I
And
know.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Like-
and there's so many of us. It's like
what do you want to do?
you tell
What do you care
us. We have
Yeah.
so many needs on this side. There are so many needs. It does not matter what your talent is. It does not matter what your focus is. I guarantee you are fighting for this cause. You are fighting for a better world, right? And there are places that desperately need you, you know? So that's my thing, man. I want all of us to get out there, and I want us to get involved.
Because I want the Muslim to be able to practice their religion.
Of
I want
course.
I'm like, it doesn't affect me at all. I'm like, if this is your bliss, fuck, life is short. Go have your bliss. You know,
Right.
I might, you know, as long as
just
you're not causing harm.
just stop forcing women to give birth.
Yeah, I don't want to live in Gilead. I really
Right.
don't.
Right. Just stop forcing children to go to bed without food.
Die.
Easy.
Guess what? Death rates are going up in places like where I live and Texas of women because they're bleeding out in cars.
Yeah,
so
that's another fucking thing.
Another conversation, and it's like then you're going against your own self-interest of preserving life.
Yeah,
you are going against yourself,
and that's the thing. I think time and time again, it is demonstrable. Somebody brings me an economic argument, it doesn't go their favor. You save fucking money by caring about people. Every time. You know, somebody wants to give me a moral argument. It doesn't fucking work. Right. Your system incites violence against people, right? It does not matter what argument you want to bring me. I swear, I've been saying this for a while. Skepticism, properly applied, leads to humanism. It leads to non-religiosity. It leads to LGBTQ rights, women's rights. It leads to giving a shit about the climate, caring about your neighbors, even though they're not part of your country. I mean, it is demonstrable. The evidence is there. The science is there. The history is there. There is no question, you know? And so I got to be honest, and this, again, we're wrapping it back all the way to the beginning, you know? A lot of times in these moments, I think to myself, genuinely, people must not know that. Because if they did, they would change their mind. And that's why so much of the nonprofit space is awareness campaigns. Because if people truly understood the amount of fucking money we're wasting by not feeding our children.
It's insane.
We'd fix it tomorrow. If everybody actually knew the billions of dollars that gets thrown in the fucking trash every year, because if people actually knew the cost to society that not providing proper health care actually leads, if people knew the amount of progress, scientifically speaking, that we could make just by starting to pay women the same amount, it's nonsensical. If people recognize this, of course they would do something. But again, there's part of me that sometimes realizes that, like, nah, Elliot, there are actually shitty people that look at women and just go, you don't deserve.
That's the thing. Like, we're never going to get rid of bigots. Like, it just, we are too tribal. We are, we're emotionally rational meatbags.
Yeah,
we are.
But
it is because, like,
try.
look how much work you and I had to do to, like, get to this spot where we're just like, everything's just arbitrary. And I only got so much time, and I just want to, like, the 4 things I always say I want to hang out with my friends, play video games, drink wine, and have orgasms. Those are the 4 things I want.
Too damn bad. Ain't too damn bad.
Right? That's too damn bad, right? So that being, but no, I can't do those things because assholes. And I have to be over here going like, listen, I'm like, you could have these 4 things. What those 4 things are.
Yeah.
You can have them if you stop being an asshole.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, time and time again, I feel like I have to go through so much explanation just to try to give people the
It's
things
so
that they
hard.
want.
That's why I'm
Yeah.
like, what are the 4 things you want out of life? Give me 4 of them.
Yeah. I just
I'm like,
just want more money. I want security, SR. And I'm like, right. So if you pass the law that you're pushing, you won't have that. And they're like, whatever. Okay.
Like, why are you voting against your own self-interest?
Okay.
Like you want to feel safe, then don't vote for laws. They're going to restrict people's rights, and then they're going to get desperate. And when they get desperate, that's when crime rate goes up.
Yeah. Also, again, it's fascinating to me that we've lived so many years past this quote, and motherfuckers still don't get it. But it's something to do with they came for the Jews, and I said nothing because I wasn't Jewish. And they came for the Catholics, and I said nothing because I wasn't Catholic. They came for the communists, and I said nothing because, and they came for me.
And nobody was there to speak for me.
And nobody was there to say anything. Absolutely. So it's fascinating to me that we haven't internalized that entirely just yet. But.
I think there's and I'm going to just say this to wrap this up, is that this is all uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Every single bit of this. Life is discomfort. And as we have discovered, if you are given everything you want, we will kill each other. If we had every need met, we would. And also too, because there's something about struggling. If you don't struggle, you're not striving towards anything. Now, and the struggle is getting harder. I wish it was getting easier. Some things are better, some things are not. But this is what we do. We struggle. There's something about our species that we like conflict. But the thing is, though, is that like I like it better when I have pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
And I want everybody to have a little bit more pleasure.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit more. I want you to be comfortable. I think like if your displeasure is to go online and argue with people about their beliefs, I feel like that should be your only hobby. That is the thing you love to do. And I also think, and if that's what you want to do, that's great. But also, I want everybody else, whatever that looks like, to be the exact same thing. And that means you do that by having more equality than less.
Right.
It's so much easier.
Right. And I know it feels like we've lost a lot of that progress, y'all. And I'm not disagreeing that we haven't. We absolutely have. I really do feel like we have a path forward. It's not easy. It's not going to be quick, but I really do feel like there's something that we can all do. You know, so that's what I'm trying to get out.
That's what we're just planting seeds. That's what we're doing. We're just,
that's right. Little pebble in motherfucker's shoes. Right. You know,
I want to be that like splinter in the brain.
That's right. That's right, man.
Something's wrong.
Right. These analogies got more and more violent as we continue. It's like planting seeds, pebble in the shoe, splinter in the brain.
Yeah.
I love it.
Because I feel like just need to get it, man.
Right. Oh, this was great. I
realize you're in the Matrix.
Yeah. Right. Unplug, motherfucker.
But not like red pill Matrix.
No.
There's just something wrong with the world.
Right.
That Matrix.
Right. No. Okay.
Probably... So promote your shit, and then we're gonna. Yeah,
I can say some things. There's a bunch of different great stuff that you can go check out, y'all. The 2 biggest things I want to promote to everybody, of course, is the Nashville Nuns Convention coming up at the end of July. There are still tickets available, so if you are interested in going, make it there, because there is a lot of phenomenal people that are gonna be there. Okay, NANOCON.ROCKS, nanocon.rocks. That's the website. Easy peasy. The other thing is we started this brand new nonprofit organization right here in Middle Tennessee called Secular Rising US. SecularRisingUS.org. Very easy. If you're in the Middle Tennessee area and you want to get connected to a group that's under this umbrella, that's doing these things, man, we are the place to go. Hit us up, check us out. And as we continue to grow, it's in the name, US, baby. This is a nationwide thing, man. We are already talking with groups across the country, and we are fucking thrilled because this is what we're doing, man. There is a wave, there is a growing movement. It is rising, you know, and it's not going to stop. And there's so many people on board with this, and you can help in so many freaking ways. You know, there's a myriad of things that you can do, and it doesn't take much. It didn't take much time.
And I will tell you that helping doesn't good for your mental health. If you're
Oh
feeling
my God.
like fuck,
Yeah.
fuck, get
Yeah,
involved,
again,
because at least
economically, again, let's be super crass about it. It's gonna put more fucking money in the pockets of everybody. It's gonna make you fucking feel better, okay? You will, in fact, have better sex. You will get better gas mileage, motherfuckers. There isn't an afterlife, so you won't live forever, but you know, you'll feel better.
But you'll enjoy while you're here. You just want to enjoy it. Like, whatever your 4 things. You want your fucking wine and orgasms, you can get those things.
That's right.
Because you'll have money and you'll be able to have better sex. So that's just, you can have money for wine. And then you can have some orgasms. There's plans. So
I see it. I see
it. Have an orgasm and drink some wine. Whatever.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
That's great. I love it. I think that's fucking awesome.
Okay, so I will not be on that. I'm really mad. But I am going to be going back cruise. So we're going to hang out there and be very silly people. We'll be very silly at back cruise. It'll be great.
It'll be great.
It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Okay, so what I got coming up, I have Chris Shelton on here on Monday. We're going to talk about neurodiversity and cults.
That'll be good.
So we're going to talk about that. And then I have John the Skeptic here on next Thursday.
I love John.
The following Thursday, I have Jonathan Ranabash from the ECA, and then I have stuff coming up this month. I have Captain Dadpool on the 24th, and then I have David Teachout on the 31st. So that's my month.
No way. John Lovell's gonna be up at NanoCon. David Teachout's gonna be up there. All of those people. Damn, you got a good lineup coming up. Fuck, why'd you put me in the middle of all of that? Everybody's gonna be disappointed. They're gonna be like,
it's really funny. It just turned out that way, but I think everybody was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be there. Like, let's get on all the podcasts. Hell, will have me on our podcast."
Hell yeah. Oh, man.
And I was just like, I miss Elliot. I want to hang out. So,
I love you, girl. I love you.
I love you too. All right, so everybody have a wonderful week. 5 days. I'll see you on Monday. In the meantime, be kind, stay skeptical, give someone a compliment, and I will see you all here on Monday. Bye, motherfuckers. Bye.